I used to have some pretty cool conversations with Chris Nadeau, an AB positive Arcturian, a couple of years ago when I used to talk to him about what an electron thief is. He began to really map read the holographic environment to be able to map read how the electrons are stolen by artificial intelligence. That's your vampire. And so, without going all the way back to my children, although I certainly described how I experienced it by virtue of the experience that is informing me of how it works, it's pretty simple. But here's a local example that's coming out of Oakland and San Francisco, California, by virtue of a mainstream media outlet in San Francisco, and was discussing how this gentleman who was into video marketing, right? So we know what video marketing is, right? And so this would go all the way back to black and white TVs, radios, newspapers, the billboards, the stuff that you don't see versus the things that you do see. Because it's not what you look like, it's what they hide behind. The masks, the technology, the holographic technology. So you see, you can't see this artificial intelligence, right? But it's everywhere. It's scanning your biometrics, see? So what it does is that in order for you to get the things that you acquire from Mama Earth, right, that requires the Krebs cycle, right, your ATP, your electrons, right? So what it learns from you is it learns how what you consider to have or what you believe has the greatest value in matter density. So like if you like cameras, if you like automobiles, whatever it happens to be like that's coming out of matter, which is what we generate out of manifestation, having full elemental command authority to, there it is, right? In other words, we're using the energy of the elementals in order to manifest what we thus experience at the moment in which we complete a circuit. See how that works? So in this case, what you have is the vampire chasing the artist, the original artist. That's obvious because it's chasing electrons. So the more it learns about what you hold in your memory that you consider to have value, it's learning through you what you consider to have the greatest value, which is matter density. So the more things that you're using to collect electrons in order to go buy the stuff that this guy bought, like cameras and photographic equipment, then the AI begins to realize how much emotional value you hold in that camera equipment. So what do you think happens? A smash and grab, right? And what did he say? I was devastated because I lost my camera. It was stolen. Well, who stole it? Well, who do you think stole it? Okay. The scanner, the QIAI. The system stole it from you. It's feeding on all of its assets. Okay? So this is why all these little notifications, I call them red flags or circuit breaker alerts. Right? Breaking circuits. And what happens when you have a broken circuit? You're not running at full speed. Yeah? So it's a distractor of what we hold in memory to keep running that hamster wheel, chasing electrons, running with a hamster wheel, running with a vampire, running with a death spiral. See? So it realizes as long as you're holding that stuff captive, it's going to keep going after those things that you hold valuable in memory to increase your density and lower your speed. And that's an inverted state of consciousness that is running away from itself, believing that happiness is going to be found in that mirror when it begins right here. This is where the gate is, right through your heart, your medicine wheel, your heart wheel, your heart and soul wheel. So you can sit on a beach, not on an automobile, have everything that you already have right there through your heart and soul, and know that you got everything that you need because you're experiencing what love is. So you're experiencing the first point of origin. I know. Have a good evening. That camera is always replaceable, and so that's what it wants you to do. Go use more of your electrons. Go get another one, and I suppose that the next one's going to cost more than the last one, even though the last one might have been made with better materials than the one in the future, because that's what they do. Ever notice that, particularly in the housing industry? Right? How many houses do you still see that are standing on the surface of the planet? What materials were they made out of that are still there after thousands and thousands of years? I grew up in a place called Santa Ana, right? And so you could still see a lot of those homes that were known as Victorian homes, yeah, that are still just as rugged and sturdy, if not engineering structural integrity-wise, better built than houses are today that cost you 100 times the same. Know what I mean? So that requires more inverters chasing electrons. So more and more people are having to chase more and more electrons in order to live in cheaper stuff or stuff that's going to collapse at a higher rate of speed, instead of building things that last and don't self-destruct. So you know they don't know what they're doing, because what it is that they're building isn't going to last. I know. And that's called finite energy, which is limited editions, right? Limited versions, which has everything to do with what? Learning speed. How fast they're learning. That's what sets a creative engine on fire. Now they can't track you because they can't predict what you're going to create next, because you're on fire to create, because you're experiencing the eternal spirit of fire, which is eternal absolute love that's on fire to create. I know, Mama. Have a beautiful day. Breathing in and out, number 3. Perfect balance between every wave. Mwah.